Step number 48 for hope on the outside: the news, negative news, and the media. Wow. I'm going to try to break this down for you as simply as I can. Are you ready? The news companies and media today that we often turn to for our news, whether it be on TV, online, the radio, or newspapers, can only make money if you and I watch and listen to what they have to say. Why and how? Well, because they make their money from advertising. What does this have to do with the news and negative news? Well, the more negative, the more hostile, the more divisive and exciting and frustrating they can make you with the news they broadcast, well, perhaps the more you'll watch their programming to learn what's up in the world today. Well, I've got news for you. You don't need to hear what they have to say 80% of the time. Sure, it's good to keep up with current events. Yeah, I get it. It's a whole other thing to believe everything you hear, which I don't. So I say to you, don't believe everything you hear today in the news, because they also don't want to give you all the information you need to hear to make the best conclusion as to what they're saying to you. What I mean here is, number one, they will and do leave certain facts out all the time to push their own agenda with a story. And this goes for every news station, news channel. It doesn't matter. I've seen it all with all the news companies out there. All of them. All of them. Number two, the news companies purposefully mislead you into thinking the way they want you to think. And number three, they rarely come back to apologize or comment on any mistakes they might have made, which would then clear up any of the false reporting or some other form of news BS they typically spew on a daily basis. So, for 30 plus years, I've chosen not to watch the news at all. My TV is literally turned off 99% of the day. Consequently, I'm very careful to choose which outlets I do get my news from. I choose more conservative, independent, non-TV related news outlets to get my news updates from. What's more, I read news articles across the spectrum to see what different news companies are saying about the same topic. What I find is some news outlets stretch the truth or word their stories very negatively, while others just simply state the facts and let you make up your own mind. I also do my own research. Again, I don't believe everything I hear, read, or see. Never have, never will. So, I suggest you focus more on you and your world, like I do with me, and make it a better place than to believe or hear and see all the negative news and BS happening out there in the world today. Here's a fact to live by, which is you were born into this world of war, chaos, desperation, survival, homelessness, crime, and we will all die in that same world 50 plus some odd years later. Just because there's craziness and chaos happening in the world, that doesn't mean that your world has to reflect that. Instead, choose to build your own life, a peaceful one, a joyful one. Choose not to get caught up in all the negative news today, because I'm sure there's a lot more good going on today than there is bad. We only hear about the bad. We never hear about the good. There's a lot of good out there. The news companies just can't make any money telling us about the good. You see what I'm saying? They profit way more when they tell us all about the bad. So, I'm just going to turn the channel if it was me, and I don't watch them. I watch me, and I work on creating my own news with what I do in my everyday life. The same goes for you. Does that make sense? If and to what degree it does, great. Live your own life and let the world do what it does best. Go on without you. onward and upward, living your own life. Right? You bet. Hey, that's just my spin on the news, negative news, and the media. I hope it makes sense.